What's up, guys? Luke back again with another Gaming Week in Review podcast where we talk about the things that have interested us in the world of video games each and every week. Before we get started, if you like this kind of content, make sure you smash that like button as well as subscribe with bell notifications turned on so you can catch us every time we post a new podcast. But with that being said, let's get right into it. Game Pass! Xbox Game Pass is just a mainstay for me in my life. It's the best $15 I spend every single month, and just to have access to all of these different games. It's like a Netflix streaming service, but it's not a streaming service. You actually get to download the games onto your Xbox and play them whenever you want, online or offline. So this thing, I think, it's a no-brainer, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it stays around $15. But there are some new rumors surrounding it. Recently, there have been rumors coming out that Xbox is approaching pretty much every developer that ever existed. There obviously we have heard about the acquiring of Bethesda last year, as well as the partnering with EA Play. So all of Bethesda's games are slowly being trickled out onto Game Pass, as well as EA Play they dropped them all at once. I could be mistaken there. There may be a few missing, but a lot of EA games are currently on Game Pass right now. So they're obviously not stopping there. They aren't fully satisfied. And we know that that's just kind of been the way that Xbox has been going lately. Is they're just approaching this thing all hands on deck, and they're trying to increase confidence in their brand, and in my opinion, it's really working very well. They've pretty much created the best gaming environment, budget conscious environment that you can expect, with the Xbox Series S being a $299 console that can play 4K gaming, or 1440p gaming at 120 hertz. That's unprecedented. There's no other console that can do that, as well as the Game Pass and the signing on of new developers. Actually, 23 first-party developers have been signed on to the Xbox brand, so making exclusive games for Xbox. So they're doing all the right things right now, and I don't see them pumping the brakes at this point. They are going for the kill right now, as far as just capturing the audience that may have left them during the PS4 era, and just capturing new people that maybe have never tried an Xbox console before because of the great deals. And if Xbox can get EA on board, like the EA that releases the same game every single year with new rosters and Madden, the EA that has loot boxes and of course they've kind of moved away from that recently, but the greedy scumbags at EA, if they can get them on board with Game Pass, I believe that they can get pretty much anybody. So look for Activision. Ubisoft is one that's being rumored right now, is kind of a shoo-in. So, we may be getting a lot of great games if Ubisoft signs up. So I'm definitely excited for the future of Game Pass. I don't know if they can hold this $15 a month price point. They may need to have some tiers involved, but hey, I'm crossing my fingers and just hoping that maybe we get grandfathered in if you're a subscriber at $15 a month, and they, maybe bump up the price $5-10. I wouldn't be mad at them. I wouldn't. There's so many games from multiple different developers. There's games for days, more than you can even think of playing in a year or even 10 years. So I think it's a great concept, and it's a great way that you can do a subscription service and not have to stream games. You can download them right to your Xbox. So I think it's awesome. If the price increases, oh well. But hopefully it stays around the same. I'm super excited for the future of Game Pass. Speaking of Xbox news, Xbox News just tweeted that they're basically a list of ray tracing games, and I just kind of wanted to go over them with you guys. There's not a ton of ray tracing support, and there's not really a whole lot of advertisement that has been put into ray tracing support. So I just wanted to relay this information because you probably were like me where, you know, you were thinking about, you know, hertz and 4K, and ray tracing just kind of flew under the radar. So there, the list of games, I have it right here. Not all of them are all out yet, but a good chunk of them are, so you can actually go and check them out. And also, a lot of these games are on Game Pass as well. So if you have Game Pass already, you can go over and pick them up and try out ray tracing and see what it's like on your Series X or Series S. The first game is Bright Memory Infinite. This game was actually a solo project. It was made by one person, and they previewed this game at the Xbox Future, I think it was Future of Gaming showcase. It was basically the Xbox Games showcase prior to the release of the Series S/X. And this game looked absolutely phenomenal. Not gonna lie, I actually picked this one up today and tried it out because because seeing this advertisement actually sparked something inside of me to go and check this stuff out, so I can give you guys good, accurate information. Bright Memory Infinite, I don't know if you guys know this, is $8 on the Xbox Game Store. So that instantly threw up some red flags with me. But in playing it, it's a very playable, fun game. It is a kind of sloppy port from PC to Xbox, and I'm assuming that's because it's a one-man team. But still a pretty awesome, solid buy for $8, guys. If you haven't checked this one out, go and pick it up. It's kind of a short game, but it does have pretty good ray tracing. We'll have that up on screen for you so you can kind of check it out. You know, you can actually even go into your graphical settings. And I think more games should do this where you actually have access to kind of tweak the graphics that you want to tweak, instead of like we have to jump on Reddit and complain about Fortnite not being in 120 hertz for Epic Games to step up their game and put Fortnite in 120 hertz. So I feel like it would be cool if they did this in more games. But basically in Bright Memory Infinite, it's straight up the PC port, just slide it over, there you go. You can change and tweak all sorts of different graphical settings, which is really cool. I'm assuming that messing with these graphical settings won't like crash your game or anything. I'm assuming that the Series X has the power to handle whatever you throw at it. Maybe at lower frame rates, maybe the frame rate gets affected a little bit, but pretty cool little game. The ray tracing in there is subtle, but it's definitely there, and definitely does bring life to these environments and make them look more realistic. The next game is Call of Duty Cold War. You guys probably already know about this. They were touting ray tracing early on when this game got announced. The next game is Call of the Sea. This is a very much so like a Myst style of game, and I actually tried this one out as well for you guys. This is a Game Pass game, so you can go and check it out if you have Game Pass as well. And this one really showed off a pretty just really what ray tracing is, and the shot that you're seeing on screen is a great example of what ray tracing is. It's basically the power of light and light in environments, and the way that it reflects off of things and reflects off of surfaces and bounces around. There's a lot of examples on screen that I thought were pretty good examples that kind of show off what ray tracing is all about. This is a very Myst-like game. It's not really my type of game, but I thought the visuals were very good, and it was a great example of what ray tracing is. Corvs is what I'm gonna call it. Corvs. That one also has ray tracing. Devil May Cry 5, Forza Motorsport, Enlisted. Enlisted is a sort of an online MMO World War II game. Looks kind of cool. I haven't tried it yet, but looks pretty sweet. Halo Infinite, obviously not out yet. Observer, Stalker 2, not out yet. The Medium, not out yet, but coming out this 28th, and I cannot wait for this game. I think it's going to be a great example of what ray tracing can do, just because of the environment. It's a very dark environment, but you know, there's going to be light coming in from different directions. So I think this is going to be a really fun one to kind of check out ray tracing and what it's all about. I do want to go back to Call of Duty just really quick. I did see some stuff on Twitter, actually on this post in the comments section, basically showing that the Call of Duty Cold War ray tracing is not the best. It needs a little bit of some tweaking and updates. There's a lot of texture pop in and out. So hopefully they'll fix that as time goes on. Next game is the last game that has ray tracing is Watch Dogs Legion. So if you have any of these games, guys, go check it out with ray tracing in mind, and go and check out what ray tracing really does to the environments. And like I said earlier, Bright Memory is kind of a cool one because you can actually turn ray tracing on or off. Well, it's more like you can turn reflections on or off, or on or low, or high or low. And so that's a cool way that you can kind of like see the differences of ray tracing and what it does. In my opinion, I feel like ray tracing is it's cool, and I think it really does add to the environment, and I think it's a very cool piece of tech moving into the future of console and PC gaming. However, I do have the sense that it's great, but it's gonna be sort of like the 4K situation, where 4K is awesome, it looks amazing, no doubt about it, or 120 hertz, it's smoother. But when you start getting into the game, how often are you gonna be like, ooh, the ray tracing, this is great, like, you probably won't notice unless you're a big like video or graphical buff. So just keep that in mind. But hey, anytime we get new pieces of tech, new sort of rendering capabilities with consoles and PC, we gotta check it out, right? Come on, we gotta check it out. So guys, go and check out these games. These all are ray tracing enabled games. Limited run news this week, just like every other week. We have some more limited run new games, as well as last chance games that are up on their site and ready for pickup. The first game, or the first things first, obviously we always do last chance games, and there's none, because this podcast is a little bit late today. And guys, I do apologize that this week's podcast is a couple days late. I had a sick employee this week in the store, and I kind of needed to cover for him, and I really just didn't have the time or energy to put this together throughout the week. But I'm here in the store on Sunday. Store's closed, and it's 8:30 at night, and I wanted to put this together now. But as far as last chance games, I'm not going to say anything because there is one, but by the time this is up, it'll be long gone, so it's no sense in me talking about it in the podcast. So moving on, in next week we'll get back to normal as far as last chance games. Moving on, we have new this week, SCAT, which is abbreviated for Special Cybernetic Attack Team. This is a NES 8-bit style side-scrolling shoot 'em up, and this is an NES re-release. This game released on the NES back in the late 80s, and This was a, not so well-known game, but still a very good game and a fun one to visit even today. Shoot 'em ups are great. It's a side-scrolling one. And this is basically just to kind of give it some honor and just and recognize that this was a good game and re-release it for a modern era. So this is going to have a standard and collector's edition. The standard edition will be $54.99, which is about what these reproduction or re-release games usually go for. Comes with the original box, full color manual, all that good stuff, and you have the option to pick a green cart or a gray cart. I always go gray, probably because I'm old school and a little bit OCD, but you can pick the green as well for kind of that camouflagey, it's like a camouflagey green. You'll see it on the screen. And as far as the collector's edition goes, that guy is running for $84.99, and what it includes is a SCAT, Special Cybernetic Attack Team on NES, the game, acrylic standee, an 18 by 24 poster, and this poster is really cool. It looks like a page out of a Nintendo Power from back in the day, so kind of a cool poster idea. A commemorative metal coin, double-sided coin that says SCAT on it and has the main character that you play as in the game on the other side. Comes with an original soundtrack on CD. No cassette tape? Come on, guys. But original soundtrack on CD. Still pretty cool nonetheless. And Arnold and Sigourney portrait pin set. These are basically the two characters that you can play as in the game, and it's just like their portraits pulled from the game and put into a pin. Just imagine that, and that's what you got. This game is out now, and it's open for a 4-week pre-order, so it's not limited run. The next game available this week is Sharon the Wanderer. This is a roguelike RPG game. It's a Switch-only release, no PS4 version or PS5. It's a standard edition and collector's edition. It's $34.99, and it's for the standard edition, and for the collector's edition, I believe they had that one priced at $54.99. I may be wrong on that. I think I forgot to write it down. But yeah, so we'll have something on screen or something where you can see the price of it on screen. But the collector's edition comes with a physical Nintendo Switch version of the game, an art book, a mammal stress ball, a miracle dice. These are both 3D sort of figures, and the stress ball is just a stress ball, and a 3 high quality art prints. They're all housed in an outer box. This one is going to be a 4-week pre-order, and it releases January 12th. I do want to say about Sharon the Wanderer, this game is there's been multiple releases and multiple offshoots of this game. It looks really cool. It's almost like it has kind of a Zelda sort of Link to the Past / original Zelda on NES sort of vibe to it. However, it's permadeath. When you die, you have to start from the beginning. You have to recollect your loot and stuff. You still progress through the game as you go, but you have to recollect your loot. You have to go back to old dungeons, get your loot set up again, and then go back and try to progress further into the game. So it's kind of an interesting spin on roguelike, and I think this one, I think you guys are gonna love this game. I think it's a great game and a good pickup for a Nintendo Switch, which is the indie video game platform. And the last game available this week from limited runs is Harvest Moon One World. This is a Switch and PS4 release. It's a collector's edition only release. And little addendum here, guys, this is not an official numbered limited run release. So if you are one of the very few, I would assume, out there that have a complete limited run release, not getting this will not compromise your complete collection. The Harvest Moon One World Collector's Edition includes a chicken plushie and a music diorama that features the original song from the game, Spring on the Beach. The diorama depicts a scene from the game with the male and female main characters and animals set to music. The characters are magnetized and interchangeable, so you can swap the male and the female. And the animals rotate while the music plays. It's kind of a cute little diorama. If you're a Harvest Moon fan or a Harvest Moon One World fan, I think you would have a really, I think this is definitely worth having in your collection. This is a limited time pre-order and it's out right now. So that's going to do it for the smaller news. Now we're going to get into the bigger stuff. And the first thing that I want to talk about is the Capcom has announced a new video policy. A big issue with creating Capcom related videos was they would get copyright stricken. Like whenever I did, even like I would do it was like a state of play showcase where they would show off RE8, and I'm just talking about RE8. We do the same thing we do with any other game that we're talking about on the podcast or other videos, and it would always get hit by Capcom, bro. Like Capcom is hardcore on YouTube. Like if you use anything that relates to their game, they just hit you with a automatic copyright strike. But now it seems like they have fixed their policy, so we can make content of Capcom IPs without being taken out by the Capcom ninjas. So it looks like, and I actually went and read the new video policy. They had a section set aside for content creators. I know they knew that this was a problem. I'm sure more people, like much bigger than me, were complaining about this stuff, and they finally did something about it. I hope. So they were very clear. The very first line, it says, you can basically do what you want with this stuff. You can make tutorials, you can make reactions, you can do reviews on their games. You can make content revolving around their game, just like anyone else. And then you go down, and obviously it's, you're not going to say that it's your game, stuff like that. So I'm not going to bore you guys with the details, but I'm thinking that from now on, when we want to talk about like maybe Mega Man, or if we want to talk about a new Street Fighter game coming out, or if we want to talk about Resident Evil or Devil May Cry or any of these awesome Capcom games, it looks like from now on we won't be copyright stricken. So I'm going to have the encouragement to make more Resident Evil related videos and get hyped for Resident Evil 8 and things like that. So in theory, I think that'll work. But let's test that theory out right now with a sizzle reel. Are we here? Are we here still? Okay. Looks like Capcom didn't shut us down for now. Cyberpunk news. Cyberpunk news. I said it before, guys. This is a weekly thing, it seems like at this point. This is smaller news, but still news all the same, and I kind of wanted to share it because we're on a roll. I mean, we talk about Cyberpunk 2077 every single week. So why would we stop now? I mean, as long as there's news to report on, let's keep talking about how terrible this game is. So the main thing I wanted to talk about today is GameSpot did a recent poll on Cyberpunk 2077, and in their poll they had 4 options. And in their recent poll they saw that a huge so the 4 options were are you planning on playing the game? Are you playing it and you're disappointed? Have you not played the game or picked it up yet? And have you finished the game? And I'll have the exact percentages on screen, but a huge percent of people that, were, they were, a part of this poll, they haven't even played the game or they're disappointed with the game. So it's not looking good. And this is after the Get Hype data chart that revealed that the player base on Steam is down 79% since launch. Cyberpunk shattered records at launch, guys. 13 million copies sold. That is phenomenal. They destroyed just concurrent playing of that game. Like, it seemed like everyone that had Steam was playing that game all at the same time. They had over 1 million people playing this game at launch. But since launch, it's they've steadily decreased, and they can't even get over 250 concurrent players in early January. So this is a mess. I mean, we already knew it. It's a mess. The Cyberpunk 2077 should have been delayed another year, probably, maybe even more. It should have been released that this game was not going to be on previous gen consoles. Sorry, guys. Love ya. See you next year when the system's on discount or you get it on a bundle at Black Friday. But I'm assuming, and I think I'm pretty right here, the suits, the hires up, were like, release that game or else. You don't have an option. Release the game. And now we have the dumpster fire that is Cyberpunk 2077. And this just reminds me of a quote from Shigeru Miyamoto. And you probably have heard it before. I've quoted it many times on the podcast. A delayed game is eventually good, but a rush game is forever bad. And that's true even today to a certain extent. I feel like Cyberpunk 2077 is going to make a major comeback. I don't think that it's going to be bad forever because we're in 2021. You can push 50 gig updates to your game and it's normal these days. Fallout 76, No Man's Sky. I mean, every Call of Duty game that comes out almost. Like, these games, Bethesda games, these games release with bugs all the time. This one was just the worst. But I feel like Cyberpunk still has plenty of time ahead of it. There's gonna be some damage control. They're gonna make less money than they probably were hoping they would make, but I feel like this is gonna be a top level seller, like as in top 10 most sold game ever by the end of its story, basically. But more bad news for Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red. Guys, do not release a game until it's done. That's the lesson. I hope you heard us. Don't release a game. I don't care what anybody says. Don't release a game until it's done. Then you wouldn't have this issue. There'd probably still be millions of people playing it in early January, but you release it early because you're greedy corporations, and now you're paying for it. So, moving on. Acer is coming out with with some HDMI 2.1 gaming monitors. And I don't know if you know this, but I am a big gaming monitor fanatic. You know, a few years ago, I got my first sort of like monitor setup, and since then I just don't want to play games any other way. I know a lot of you guys probably play games on your couch, you know, on your big screens and things like that, or maybe you have a game room where you play games on a TV there. But I feel that gaming monitors are it's just the experience of having a gaming monitor that it really speaks for itself. It's not something that I can really explain to you guys, but having a gaming setup and sitting down, setup whether you're playing on console or PC, there's just something about it that I just really love, and I don't really want to go back ever to playing games on a TV because I'm a spoiled American brat. So this is good news, guys. We had not had prior to this a clear release window for a gaming monitor that had HDMI 2.1, but Acer is actually just announced that they are coming out with not one, not two, but 3 gaming monitors that will have HDMI 2.1 and do 4K. Well, not all 3 of them will do 4K, but 2 of them will do 4K at 144 hertz. So if you are an owner of a PS5 or an Xbox Series X and you want to get the most out of these systems, and you need to, and you know, you want to run HDMI 2.1 because it has that extra bandwidth, got a little overhead, then you'll be able to do that. This is great because now we're going to have a clear decision on what to go with if you want the best gaming experience as far as gaming monitors go. These monitors, there's 3 of them. They will all be, they're announced as releasing in May, so not too far from now. And it's going to be a spendy thing. I mean, we all know that when new tech comes out, when a new grade of HDMI or Ethernet or, you know, whatever else, Wi-Fi 6 or, you know, whatever new piece of tech comes out. Remember 3D TVs? Oh man, that didn't last. You know, VR, you know, anytime new tech comes out, it's always expensive. The cheapest of these 3 monitors is a whopping $900. So after saying all the stuff I said prior, you probably won't be owning any of these monitors at launch, but it is good news that these companies are seeing this and they are beginning to release these monitors now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in the next couple of years, we'll start to see a price decrease. Maybe we can pick up a 4K 144 hertz monitor with HDMI 2.1 at, you know, the modest price of like $500. Maybe as time goes on. But until then, play them on your TVs. If you want the, you know, the better, you know, the resolution and max of hertz and all that good stuff. Dude, comment of the week. It's the comment of the week. It's the comment of the week. And this week's comment of the week comes from Fallen Genesis 4, and this is a comment on a previous video that I did in regards to Nintendo consoles. And if you pay attention to our channel, this one got a lot of views and a lot of good comments, and we had an absolute blast making it. We had such a good time making it. And you know, if you're going in watching it for the first time, just before you go, I love Nintendo, okay? I'm just letting you know, I love Nintendo. He commented on part 2 of my Nintendo sucks at making game consoles video, and he said, this might be one of the only channels I've seen that actually hates on the Nintendo GameCube controller. IMO, every traditional controller Nintendo made after the Nintendo GameCube is light years better. Fallen Genesis 4, thank you for your comment. I have to respectfully disagree with that statement. There's been some turds that came out after the Nintendo GameCube controller. I tried to love this controller, and I wrote this back to him. I tried to love this controller. It's good for its time. It's good for the platform that it's on. But it's not that great of a controller, and I know you guys probably hate me for saying that, but it's not. There's a few good things about it still to this day, but the majority of this controller is trash. And, you know, I love you guys. I know you guys are big Smash fans, and you probably use a GameCube controller on the daily, but other than for Smash, this controller... And for the triggers are really nice, but you don't have 2 triggers anymore. There's 4 now. So it's just not a relevant controller in 2021. In my opinion, it's garbage. But it's definitely better than the Wii remote. It's slightly worse than the Wii U Pro controller, but I'd take it over a gamepad. Now, and Joy-Cons are alright, but I think I'd rather use a GameCube controller over Joy-Cons. But the Pro controller is a huge step in the right direction for Nintendo in making good quality, awesome, comfortable, easy to use controllers. So, Switch Pro controller, pretty awesome. But the Wii remote or GameCube controller? I'm going to take the GameCube controller. But thank you so much, Fallen Genesis. I appreciate your comment. And thank you so much for putting it up there and becoming Comment of the Week. But that's going to do it for me this week, guys. If you liked this video and you got value out of it, do me a big favor and smash like, as well as subscribe with bell notifications turned on. But that's enough for me. I want to hear from you guys now. What do you think about Xbox approaching everybody and their cousin about joining Game Pass? What do you think about Cyberpunk's 2077 player base absolutely taking a dive in the last few weeks? And are you gonna buy a $900 monitor because it has HDMI 2.1 and 4K 120 hertz? Let me know in the comment section down below. But until next time, guys, Luke from 8-Bit Plus signing out, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.